Welcome, guys, back to the Watchlist podcast. Today it's episode 22, and we're talking about two movies that released last week. We're talking Evil Dead Burn
Oh
and
God.
Invite,
Yeah.
both really good movies.
No.
Um, we're gonna start with Evil Dead Burn because, um,
Yes, let's
yeah, me
talk.
and me and Luke are very different about it, and we haven't
Oh
even
yeah.
talked about what we are very different on. I love it. It's my favorite of the year
All right.
so far,
It's in
and Luke.
conversation with my least favorite of the year. In the conversation.
Okay. So yeah, I fucking love this movie. I think I have to preface like I watched both The Fade, Evil Dead,
Fade
and
Alvarez.
Evil Dead Rise, and I didn't really like them as much. And then this one just like was like completely out of left field. I don't know where it came from, and it just hit me perfectly. Yeah, so I came into the theaters. I thought it was gonna be my least favorite Evil Dead. Um, and then everything clicked as it was coming through. I didn't like it at the beginning, and then everything kind of solved itself as it was going
Interesting.
along.
What point
Um,
made you like the movie? Like what happened where you were like, "Oh, okay, now it's
so
better."
my favorite thing was the family dynamic was great in it. I love the family dynamic.
Okay.
I love the opening car burning scene. I think that's great.
The opening
Um,
car burning scene?
yeah, when he's upside down, like the
Oh,
the
when
abusive.
he hits the
Yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah, the abusive husband, and then like I didn't like the opening scene on the lake.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, like whatever. And then it randomly cuts to like people twerking with like this
Yeah,
music, and I was
right.
like,
The
oh,
club
okay,
music.
like bobbing my head. I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And then does all this stuff with the car, and then I found a lot of comedy in the movie as well, like the construction around the actual thing. But I have to talk about like the characters in particular.
Sure.
The father is maybe one of my favorite visual villains I've seen in a long time. He feels like a dream. I have to say, this whole movie to me feels like a dream. I related it to like me waking up from a nightmare. That's what this movie felt like. It feels very foggy. I like the color grade. I like the lighting on the house. I like the way the snow is falling. I like how the father's kind of like standing out there and he has this really intimidating look. And it kind of feels like a threat that's too far away from you to reach, but it still feels daunting. A lot of like how my nightmares end up being, where it's just like you feel you feel a presence, I guess. And it kind of feels like not, I don't know, novel in a way, where it kind of feels like there's this separation between. And I have to say, the director, I've never heard of this
Yeah,
director
right.
before.
Pretty random.
He has like one movie
Yeah.
before this, French guy. He goes absolutely bonkers. He goes insane in this movie.
Yeah, he goes
Especially
crazy in his head.
within the within the confines of the house, he's doing some really cool stuff. They have like a camcorder sequence on the TV, with the dead husband, the dead son, whatever you want to call it, and they're having a sequence, and the camera's kind of going past the fight sequence, and it goes to the camera, and then they'll
Hmm.
bang ahead
And then it
into the
freezes.
smiling
Yeah.
guy, and it has this great contrast between the person that the parents think he is and the person that the wife knows he is. And when it cracks the screen, he's smiling and he has that innocent look. But with the cracked screen, everything began to click as to the dynamic between the family and the wife and why she's there and why she's a great final girl. Um, the grandma is my probably my least favorite part of the movie, like the whole joke gag thing with her. Um,
She has like
and also,
dementia.
yeah, she has like dementia and she keeps talking about like getting robbed, like they're
Right.
robbing her.
Yeah, that one girl's robbing her.
Yeah, but there's another great sequence on the top of the stairs. I was like, I think I jumped out of my seat. And me and the guy next to me were loving it. We like looked at each other. This random guy, we both like looked at each other when the scene happened. They're fighting at the top of the stairs, and midway through the fight, they crash through a mirror, and you realize the whole sequence was
Yeah,
shot
right.
in this mirror. And I was like, holy fuck, that's great. I loved that. Um, I also love the scene when the mom is who isn't a deadite yet, is making out with her like deadite husband through the window, and there's something really eerie about that, and kind of that character like not even giving a fuck
Right. The
about,
tongue make out part.
yeah, the tongue
Yeah,
makeup part. I
really
love it. It's so gross and weird, and
sure.
I like that for the character because she cares more about her perception than the actual reality of what's going on. And it kind of has this haunting thing where I kind of related it to like she's like willing to do this. She's willing to like in an example like sell her soul to the devil. It kind of feels like that kind of caricature where she's like fine doing this stuff because she's like wants to be with her family, right? Family, and she has like this weird relationship with her grandma that is getting shunned on by her daughter-in-law. This stuff, the son as well. You realize the other son that's alive. You realize some things about him that gets revealed later on. I love the end sequence when she finally makes it out of the house and she leans back her head backwards and the camera kind of turns in this really interesting way when she's upside down and you see her dead husband burning with the house on fire.
Yeah,
And I was like, holy shit, that looks sick.
really.
I was like,
Okay.
that looks so sick. And then even when he's walking towards her, I love the blocking with the gazebo outside and how he's kind of using that surface to separate them and how he comes closer. There's so many interesting things directing wise that's going on that I loved, and everything clicked. It doesn't really feel to me like it is a part of this like Evil Dead franchise. As I was going along, it just kind of feels like a singular thing, a singular vision. Doesn't have that same kind of tone that the rest of the Evil Deads have, or has like that kind of like dark comedy throughout. This has like that comedy moments. Um, but I think that's just like a
It's a lot
script thing.
meaner. It's a lot meaner in
Yeah,
tone, this one.
it's a lot meaner, and I like it like that. Where I kind
Okay.
of where it's kind of hard to compare it to the earlier Evil Deads because I love those movies because they're so goofy in a sense that it has like its own charm that I love about like Army of Darkness and Evil Dead 2 in particular. Like they have like this really cool camp style. And this to me doesn't feel camp at all, but it feels like surreal. It has like this surreal feel to it that feels really personal when it comes to like mental health issues, abuse systems, family dynamics, and it does feel really dark and cruel and mean. The kills in here are gnarly, some of the kills. Um, and I love the setting of the house. The house itself has like this kind of character, and I like the way that it's lit from the outside, and a lot of establishing shots are really good. Um, and they do good to set up some kills as well. Like the dishwasher, for instance. Like as soon as she pulls out the dishwasher and she
Yeah.
puts those spears upside down, you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen the trailer and I
Yeah,
knew
right.
what's gonna happen, but it has this cool, interesting, like it feels like a natural curve to get to that point where it doesn't feel like absurd where it's coming out of nowhere. Or I mean, it does feel obvious, but it feels obvious to the point where like it's rewarding when it's set up in a way where it's doing something like that. So those are like my initial thoughts of like what I liked about the entire movie, and it just kind of fit. And I think the biggest thing for me of why I liked it so much is that surreal feeling that it has for me, where it does feel like a nightmare. There's a lot of movies that feel like dreams, and we always talk about these movies don't feel real or they feel like in a dream state, you know. Um, this has the exact same feeling, but like a nightmare. When I was watching it, I was scared because of the tone of what's going on, not because of what's actually going on or the gore. Gore never really like gets to me like that, but it just has this like dark undertone where I'm like, man, I feel like I'm dreaming right now. And these feel like characters that would be in a dream, right? They kind of like underwritten characters, and I kind of like allow that to be okay in a film like this because of the way it's impacting me personally, right? The, them being underwritten makes sense because if in to me the context of it is it feels like a nightmare. Your nightmare villains or your nightmare like people that are in your nightmare or whatever, they're not really well written characters that are fleshed out or whatever. So yeah.
I mean, I guess I agree in this. It's a nightmare. No, just kidding. No, like, so what about it is like a nightmare to you then? Like, what makes it feel like a nightmare?
The biggest thing to me is, dude, it's like really hard to explain. It's for me the biggest
Tone?
thing that clicked me, the tone, I think the biggest thing that clicked it in for me and what made the rest of the movie worked was the father. Like the way he was acting
Okay.
was really strange. Um, like even at the dinner table before he goes full crazy and
Yeah.
he's just kind of sitting there and there's like this tension of the girl like not letting him touch the wine opener, and there's like this kind of weird tension between them, and there's already tension like relationship wise, right? Not even like danger wise. And then when you add that danger, and also it's like the way he looks. Like he looks so like he's a big buff burly man that's a little older, you know. And when he's standing outside with his dog, it just feels like what, like this feels like not real. And the snow's coming down. The snow's a big thing too. When the snow's coming down, it doesn't fall naturally. It has like this
Yeah, it's
swooping motion,
digital.
you know? And I love that. Like there's something about like that kind of motion of a weather sequence, like it can be rain or whatever. It just feels super surreal. And then also like the house. The house in like a pitch darkness has like this kind of white glistening, almost like a powdered donut. That's kind of how I felt it. Like it was like it has this like kind of
On the
powdered donut
outside?
feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the
Okay.
outside, the exterior of the house. And it kind of feels like it's a prop. Like imagine like when movies they use like for a scene that's really big, they make miniatures. It feels like a miniature like toy house like kind of put in there, and it doesn't
Hmm.
feel like a real house. I was like there's no way this house is real. Like in
Okay.
my mind,
So
right?
there's
And
some
it's kind of
artificialness to the
yeah,
movie that okay.
yeah, it kind of feels like something that you would conjure up in a dream, right? It's almost like backrooms in a way where it's like how they're saying everything's a little bit different.
Hmm.
Something's off in every little kind of instance here where it kind of it molds well for me to where it's like, okay, that's great. So yeah, that's why it kind of feels like a dream to me and kind of surreal and
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, okay. Here's the thing. It's a movie I think is just kind of there's like two big issues I think with the movie. I mean there's a lot of issues, but like for me personally, because there's like I think obvious narrative issues with um the characters and it's kind of generational trauma abuse thing, like whatever. And also just like fitting that with the demons, fitting them into the story. But really, what it comes down to is the way this movie is edited. It is edited like fucking horribly. It it's like a 5-year-old just like doing shit is what it feels like the whole time, to where there's a cut literally every second and it doesn't stop. It's kind of a nonstop, and I think it's kind of interesting with the invite too, of how they're kind of both nonstop movies in terms of like um, beats or plot and kind of thrilling too. But as soon as this movie starts, like they have a conversation on the boat and they're just reading text from their phone and it's cutting super quick and it's super weird. Like it feels so weird.
Yeah.
And it just like doesn't stop that when the action picks up. So it feels so disjointed in a way where there's no rhythm, there's no thought going, there's no emotion going into the scene. We're just cutting as quick as we can between things, and it doesn't stop for this entire movie. It's so many cuts to where there would be like a shot like above, like there's the camera above, kind of like a John Wick 4 thing, where the camera's going above the house. It doesn't do like a, I mean, John Wick 4, it does that for a long time and it's cool. This movie does it for like 3 seconds cut, and it kind of does that so goddamn much where no scene feels real. Every scene feels just like throw up, just kind of like we're like throwing shit at the wall and hoping it sticks. And so I felt no attachment to any single thing going on. because that makes everything less scary. That makes, you know, every character less compelling. I don't think there's a single character that I think is interesting or I feel anything about as like a real human being. Um, like it's crazy that they're trying to make these characters have like this story, um, because they're not like uh, really bad performances, I think, like across the board, but also um the scenes aren't played out to where we don't spend any real time with these people. The time we spent is very, very quick, and something's always happening. Like something always has to happen. Something, weird or something gross has to happen basically every like 5 seconds. My second biggest issue would be this new wave of horror filmmaking that is kind of, the real juice of the stories are how gross can we get, and they really lack a lot of like formal ability usually. I think of the Philippou brothers, the like Australian YouTuber guys with like Bring Her Back and Talk to Me. It kind of feels like in the vein of, I think Terrifier is probably the most famous at this, of just kind of like trying to be like super gross. That one's maybe more camp or over the top, and you know those movies are a whole thing, but essentially like the gross horror, right? We're trying to be gross. Recently, Lee
Yeah.
Cronin's The Mummy, right, is fits
Yeah.
into this category, where that horror is just really, really, really unappealing to me. I think it just sucks, quite frankly. Lee Cronin also did The Last Evil Dead. I don't remember the last two evil I watched them. I don't remember a single thing from, like, the last two, really, but I was not as annoyed, as much as I watched this one. This one was in theaters, though, so maybe I felt more, like, stuck here, where I was literally, like, itching myself to leave 20 minutes in. Like, I just wanted out so quickly, and it never stopped, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta do a podcast on this. I gotta, like." I just, like, kept, like, I just, like, zoned out because I just get so bored, and then I'd be like, "Okay, actually, I have to, like, think about this because I have to talk about it." It's like, I don't know what I'm gonna talk about here, because like, there'd be, like, stuff happening. I think there's like a way to do these like gross things, or kind of like the knives in the dishwasher thing. Like there's a way to do that that doesn't feel, it feels kind of like that's it. Like that's the main part of this movie. That's all we get. And I think there's a way to do that that's one, feels more spontaneous and creative, and two, isn't just like the movie. It's kind of, it's like a treat while you're watching a good movie, more. If it's super creative and it's fun, then it works, but I think that actually fits into the category that of like these camp horror movies. Like that's when that works, when it's not trying to be serious. Because the serious gross stuff, um, I think just sucks. But I also differ from you, where you kind of like this tone of the Evil Dead, where I want my silliness back in Evil Dead, where I think the last two kind of were more similar to this, and this kind of, we're in the, 20, like I guess early 2010s, but 2020s horror that's just like kind of, we have to be serious now, and we're living in a post Dark Knight world, and we're doing serious shit, and it's just, it sucks. Like I just, at this point, it's like, just don't make it Evil Dead, just make like a, another movie. Like why do we keep doing these movies? We
Yeah.
we don't care about this franchise. I mean, just, you want money, I get it, but um yeah, I don't like the tone. I don't like it being this mean, especially when it's just like the gross horror, you know what I mean? And I think it fails a lot at the family dynamics. I don't feel like any of them are like real. Like I don't feel like this is a real family. I think the yeah, I don't know. And the main through line, so it was reveal it's like set up as a reveal where it's the now widowed wife, and she was like, it's kind of a domestic abuse situation, but he spilled like boiling water on her, Is that it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as like that's okay, but like if you're doing like the grossest movie ever and there's like crazy shit happening, and then the sole like conflict of like why there's like nuance and she doesn't, her um mourning is more complex or whatever, like you're going into this. I was a little underwhelmed by the boiling water, where I I don't know. I wouldn't wanna see, like, something gruesome, you know what I mean? But it was like it was when it happened, I was kinda like, "This is weird." Like, this just feels weird to that they're going this way. I mean, you kinda could tell that that was happening from the beginning, but, I mean, it just
I mean, I think the biggest thing for her is like there's also like a mental abuse too. It's not like just physical, and you see that
right,
in the
he was
beginning,
yelling at
right?
her. Yeah.
He's just constant like he's immediately like one of the worst people ever, right?
Yeah,
Like just the way he's acting is just like, dude, shut the fuck up. You're
yeah,
being so overdramatic,
yeah, he's kind
and
of like
he's super insecure. And I
yeah.
think when I see the duality of something like him acting like that and her reactions, and then seeing like the genesis of like them being happy at a marriage ceremony, which you see on the camcorder stuff, like to me that feels really sweet. Not sweet, but it makes sense why she was with him in the beginning, right? Like that's you don't know
But
who
do you
someone
get
truly
that
is.
essence from the, like, wedding video? Do you feel like I feel like it's
I
so
do.
quick, like, it's just
I
kinda
do
like
because there's stuff like that where it kind of just makes sense even if it is fleeting, where it's just like just a small glimpse of them being happy at a marriage tells me all I need to know of
okay,
okay, this is why she got into the marriage. And also about like the family dynamics you're talking about. Um, why I like them so much is like especially the dinner scene, you can kind of tell, or even a little bit before, you can kind of tell like they don't want her there, right?
yes.
And I've been in those situations where you just feel stuck with this person's family that doesn't like you, or just like in any situation, you're like not on good terms with friends and you're out with friends and you just kind of feel like, oh, I shouldn't be here. It kind of feels like that, and then they're like kind of being fake nice at moments, or they're being like super passive aggressive and those type of things. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. And their whole family is kind of like that, and even the son is he's nicer and he's not like his parents or his grandma, but he's not like telling them to stop doing it. He's kind of like allowing it to happen, and he's like lived through it probably his whole life, right? He's like used to this family dynamic, and it kind of feels like this is a really broken family, and
Yeah.
which is why
It's a messed up
I
family.
love seeing them all become deadites because it almost feels like they're becoming who they really are in a way. Where it's like, oh,
Yeah.
like this is who they are on the inside, and it doesn't feel that much different from what they were before. Like they're evil before and they're evil after they become deadites.
Well, there's
Um,
also the idea of, like, transferring possession too, right? Like, kind of,
yeah,
there's the monster of the family, and that, has kind of like a domino effect, but I think there's like it's like tonally the movie kind of like like when it's confronted with moments like this where it's trying to communicate something because of what the movie is. I feel like it has to make it extremely obvious like what everyone's feeling, or like exactly what the conflict is here. Like like the dad's obviously a you know, bad guy and they obviously don't like her, because, they'll like tell her, right? Like they eventually be like,
I kind of like that in like the context of this movie because I think they don't spend too much time on like the buildup, and a lot of the movie is actually like the possession shit. Like it happens
yeah.
pretty early on in the film, and to me, like
It's basically
the
the whole movie.
brutality, yeah, the brutality of like the gore, which I said like I don't usually like the gore of it, but I think every single death makes sense for each person. Like it somehow relates to certain things. Like the biggest thing is the smashing of the head on the floor, and that it's very intense, and they're smashing the head and they're smashing the head and they're smashing the head, and it's like an emotional moment of like relief, of pain, of all this stuff, and how everyone's acting kind of feels like a release, and also why I like her as a final girl, the French girl. She kind of gets to kill this fucking family
Yeah.
that's like complete assholes. The editing, um, I'm really sorry you had to go through that because for some reason I just didn't notice it. I
Mm.
just didn't notice
Even
the
the
fast
first
editing.
scene, even I feel like is
The first scene, yeah, it feels like, I mean, the first scene, why I don't like it, it just kind of feels like they try to find one through line to
like to start
enter
it.
into this
Yeah.
storyline from the last one, because the last one ends with them ending in the lake, you know? And so then they kind of felt like, oh, we have to do something with the lake to make this one make sense. And that's like the only through line between the two movies. Um, but yeah, I also think it's like I don't I don't compare this newer trilogy to the older trilogy at all. I think they're completely different. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
they're completely different. And I kind of take it with tone of like it just being a modern case of using the not the style. I do hate when these new Evil Dead movies do like the sweeping through of the forest,
Right.
like the first Evil Deads. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Like in all of them.
It
I'm
feels
just
like
like,
they're like contractually obligated to do it at some point.
yeah, and I'm just like, oh, I hate this. It
Yeah.
just doesn't feel like Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
Uh, Other than that, like I think they're a completely different thing. They're just kind of using the lore to kind of create this new series, which is why I don't like the first new Evil Dead, like the 2013 one, is because it just feels like a rehash of the first Evil Dead. Like it's like almost the same movie, but it's using like addiction to like for a through line, which is like a more modern tone thing, and it just doesn't work. And then it just feels like the same movie. And I didn't
Mm.
like the first Evil Dead either. The
Right.
the Evil
Okay.
Dead Rise is interesting because I love the third act. It's like pretty scary, and the mother's really
Mm.
scary, especially like the peephole shots. I love a good peephole shot. And it's really fucking scary at that point. The whole first two thirds are just like roll your eyes, dumbass shit with like the pizza or whatever they're trying to. It all feels like they're just trying to hand it to you of being like this is why they're in this situation. They have to go get pizza, and now they're stuck in here. And you have the dumbass characters that are, oh, look at this hole down here. We should go down here. And I just don't like those like dumb decisions. The new Evil Dead Burn kind of takes those dumb decisions out of the water, and there is not really like a dumb decision because it just gets to the action really quick,
Yeah,
and
there's
just
no
the
time for a decision. It's like
there's no time for
it's
decision. It just
happening.
feels like the entrance to when it's getting intense to this movie is really quick, and then the whole movie is just a fucking nightmare. And it's just
Yeah.
like blood, 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 gore, gore, gore with really cool directing. The editing I didn't really notice because maybe I was just swept up with like the actual feeling of it all. I think that's what it comes down to, our differences of like attaching a feeling to it. Like you kind of got detached pretty early on from what I can tell because of the
Yeah.
editing. And I
Well,
kind of got attached
I think it's really horribly
early.
directed too. I think the scenes are pretty horribly
Really,
put together.
I think
Yeah.
it's really,
I mean, there's
good.
like stuff that's fine, but I think there's like parts in it where I'm like, this is like genuinely he should be fired for fucking doing this shit.
There's no way. Because I actually think there's like he's using space well.
I don't think so.
He's using the different levels of the house well. He's using props really well. Uh, the the actual fight sequences are great, I think, because the way that the camera, when it decides to stay on the fight and when it decides to leave the fight and it's entering back into the fight, there's a pretty long shot in the dining room when they're fighting. I think it's the father and the son are fighting for their lives. And they're just fighting, and like I said, it does the camcorder thing with the smash of the head and just kind of stays there, and then it kind of fades back and it goes back into the fight. It just feels very fluid, and it feels like a well choreographed scene within the space. Um, yeah, I don't know.
I think
I
there's
think
just
this is all.
no I feel like there's no scene building going on. He's not getting anything, like, out of these people. I feel like he's kind of maybe focused more on choreographing action or something like that. I don't think he's actually constructing scenes. Like, I don't think it feels like he's not making a movie, is how
I
where, like,
agree.
there's
I
no,
agree completely.
like, building. There's no, like, um there's no moment to kind of take everything in and process these characters or anything, which makes any kill in the movie feel completely weightless. I feel like there's no weight to any um kill or like event, right? Because
They don't
whatever it
die.
is, but like important gross thing or whatever the hell happens, right? I feel like
Yeah.
there it doesn't provide any basis, like, for me to care about anything going on or feel like anything dramatic is happening, because
I think
there's
it's
nothing
I
there.
think why I think why I was able to attach feeling to the kills was maybe because despite how short that dinner sequence is, I instantly got everyone's dynamic, right? The son
Yeah,
despises a live son despises his parents, but he's not brave enough to say it. Um, the husband and wife, they love each other and they're grieving their son, but they feel distant. uh, the final girl, she's gone through abuse. She thinks that these people are her friends, but she's kind of realizing that she probably doesn't belong in that kind of circle. The girlfriend of the son is kind of just there, and she's kind of like the nice girl of the whole thing, right? She's just like, "Come on, guys, let's be nice" or whatever.
yeah,
And she dies pretty early, which I was like,
yeah.
"Holy shit!" And that's a pretty brutal death in the car, dude.
That's
When her
probably the
when
best
her
kill in the movie.
when her fingers come off,
Yeah,
I was like, geez, that's
yeah,
so crazy. And then like the whole tension, like the son is an absolute fucking coward, right? He's just
yeah, yeah,
that's who he is. Like he can't stand up to his parents, and he can't save his girlfriend because he's too afraid to kill his father,
yeah,
who's obviously possessed, right? And he just walks away. And we're like immediately because before that he seems like the good guy, right? Of the whole situation. And as soon as he walks away from the car, you're like, oh, I want this guy to die a brutal fucking death, you know. And I think it's like me being able to attach these little small moments, and I just see the dynamic really quickly. I'm able to attach why the father and the son are fighting. I'm like, okay, that makes sense, right? Why the mother is making out with the possessed father makes sense. I also kind of like how this is different in the way that the Deadites kind of feel more alive and more conscious, and they're kind of just like standing there instead of like killing them immediately. They're like, tell us the location of the weapon, right? Like tell us the location of the weapon. They kind of feel like these hyper analyzed versions of Deadites, which is different. And it's cool because it's not trying to be a complete ripoff of the originals, which I think the first one especially is. I kind of wished the whole thing was just kind of just its own thing using the Evil Dead lore instead of just trying to be a reincarnation of the same Raimi ones. Because I hate when that happens in movies in general. Like it's its own movies. What's like the new Moana, right? For example, just like doing the same shit over again, just in live
sure.
action.
Wait, what's the
You do it.
comparison to the 2013 one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
The 2013 one to like the
Yeah.
original Evil
Probably a
Dead, right?
better comparison would maybe like A New Hope to the first Star Wars with Rey, Force
Yeah,
Awakens. That kind of
yeah,
made me think of
exactly.
that.
They're like trying to do the same thing, right? In a modern context. It's like just use that lore and just like put the modern talks context and do something
Yeah.
completely
I
different,
mean,
which I think this seeds in.
well, I
I'm like,
still
okay, they're going darker. They're going something that's like I've never seen a movie like this before. You would probably agree, but in the opposite way. Like
no, I said like the Filippo brothers and like those movies make me like I feel
yeah,
similarly.
which is weird because I don't like those movies
Yeah,
either.
right.
There's just something weird about this movie that I just it just fit really well. I think it's also like if I compare it to like something like Talk to Me or Bring Her Back, it's like those movies um they don't have any like energy to them. And I think in this movie I
Well,
felt constant
you know
energy, and I
what?
was just
Those movies do like try to have real characters and are like movies, right? where,
Yeah.
like but they fail, like, think about the mu Lee Cronin's The Mummy, right? Well, you kinda like that
Yeah.
one or you didn't hate like, whatever, like, the
I don't
like,
like it,
they
but
had,
yeah.
like, characters, um, like, real characters, right? And that were, like, kind of fleshed out more, um, that are bad, right? Like, they're like, "Oh," like, they're failing on that level, right? But in this
Yeah.
movie, it, like, just doesn't do that, so like, by taking that out, maybe that's what allowed you to like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I
That's,
think
like,
I
a
think that's
difference I
why
can think
because,
of.
like I said, because like, the whole time I was, like, thinking, "Oh, this is a nightmare," and I think that's the whole thing of, like, I kinda just give it excuses as I'm watching it, and I'm able to enjoy it for the feeling it's giving me in that moment, and to me, like, I had a fun-ass time in the theater, like, I was enjoying it
It's so funny that
almost
we had,
completely through.
like, the
Well,
opposite.
when you watched it, you knew my rating, right? You knew I gave it
Yeah,
a
I
4
did know
because
that.
I texted you, I was like, "This shit's really
Yeah,
good, you should watch it."
yeah,
While you were watching it, were you like, "What the f like, what is Eli on?
yeah.
Like, what is
I
he
I
thinking?"
was I was like, okay, it was a thing where it's like, it's so much, it's so maximalist, where I know you do like, like, kind of extreme maximalist shit. So I was like, I could see that part, but there's that. I mean, I was just like, how is he having fun, right? Like, how is he having fun and during when all the shit was going down? But at like the first when it goes to the club scene at the beginning, I was like, this feels like an Eli kind of thing, or
Yeah,
like I
'cause
was
I
like,
love every movie
but
that has
then
a
I'm
club
like, oh,
scene.
it's edited so bad, like or like it's so annoying. I was like, I don't know, and I
I'm
just like,
actually very interested to revisit this movie, right?
yeah,
Because it could just be like a one-off thing. I think if I also don't want to, because I wanna kinda be
I
based here.
know.
And like love this movie. Uh, but like I would be interested to go in and like actually look at the editing if it would just like completely change my thing. Because I watched it really late at night and I wasn't like in the mood to watch a movie. And I thought, and like another thing, I came in thinking this is gonna be like a 1 star or 1.5, kind of like you,
Oh, cause
right?
yeah, you didn't like the other ones, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, there's no way the third one's good, right?
Yeah.
So I was just kind of going into it, and I was just like, okay, whatever. I'll just sit down. I was just kind of laying back. I was like, okay, the first scene is like, oh, this is exactly how I thought this shit was gonna go. And then something happens where I was just in a dream state the whole time, and I was just impressed by a lot of things going on visually and like directing wise. I don't know. It just like clicked for me, and to me it made sense because like being in that dream state, the characters didn't matter as much. It mattered more about the feeling and like as it was going on, like I initially hit that feeling and then the feeling continued and I was like, okay, I really fucking like this, and then I was just able to like surrender myself to the movie and enjoy it for like the bonker shit that was going on. And again, the gore stuff doesn't like turn me on or anything. It's just it's just there and it just makes sense. And there's in all Evil Deads, like a kill can happen. I'm like, okay, that's cool. It's not gross to me. Like I'm not like wincing at a death that's crazy. Um, I think the worst thing in this entire movie is the candle scene. It's like the word I'm like,
Where she's
it's just
drinking the
so
candle.
drinking the candle. I'm like, okay. It
That's the
just
one that
looks
annoyed you?
yeah, it looks really dumb to me.
Okay,
I'm just like,
well,
okay. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like I think it's just because that kind of takes away, like, especially like a prop or something like that. Like you just know that's not real.
oh,
You
yeah,
know?
sure.
And she's drinking it. I'm like, okay. Like
Yeah,
it just
yes.
feels way too fake to me. And I'm just like, okay, whatever. Whereas like someone getting bashed in the head feels a little more real
Mhm,
because it feels like more in time type of thing, and they're bashing and bashing or whatever, or like the the prop, like the seat in her mouth or whatever,
mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
right? Like an interesting prop to use in that sense or whatever. Um, but like the candle thing, it's just like, okay,
So,
it's
I have a question, um, since you're the
hit me.
expert, the Evil Dead burn expert. I don't even know.
This is my
Okay,
Sing 2 again. I have found a new Sing 2.
yeah. There's so the backstory of the grandpa being into this Evil Dead, like into like was in a cult, and that's why the demons are like following, and um and he has the knife, and so they're trying to get the knife, like that whole thing. Is the grandpa supposed to be like Ash or something?
I was thinking that while I was watching it. I was like,
There
is he supposed
there's a picture of Ash on Bruce Campbell on the stairs. There's a portrait of him. So that's where I was like, is he so but it could also just be like, oh, this is an Evil Dead movie, so let's get Bruce Campbell in here as like a
Yeah.
funny
It's
thing.
also I think it would be dumb if it is Bruce Campbell's Ash
Yeah.
because then they're talking about him like he's crazy. Like, oh, your crazy uncle who's in this like
Yeah.
cult thing, right? And that to me doesn't feel like Ash. And it
Yeah,
also
yeah.
kind of
I
feels
was
like
like, what's
this.
the lore there?
It also feels kind of disrespectful, like fully putting him in as a character, even though he has no screen time. Like just putting him in as like an essential plot point kind of feels weird in a new gen Evil Dead.
That's
I'm
so
like, just
different
leave it.
too. Like that's not the
Just
same
like leave.
world. But also, okay, but to play devil's advocate, um if we're thinking of movies doing this kind of thing, it's the best version of that where they didn't have a scene or like it's like a picture of him and it's like that's your grandpa. His name was Ash, or like some like
Yeah,
corny
yeah.
shit.
That would just.
You know what I mean? We're like it could have.
I think that would completely throw me off, right? Like,
It
especially
wouldn't
like being
fit in
in that
this
dream state,
movie.
and then
Yeah.
they're like walking the stairs, and like, this is Ash, your grandpa,
Yeah.
or this is
All
grandpa. I
right.
think I would be like, okay, fuck this movie. I was having a good time until
Yeah.
then.
I like what
Like,
it
don't bring action to this.
I wonder if that was like cut out. Like if they could have like shot that and just been like,
I would
oh, this
love.
is
I would love to know. I
yeah.
would love to know like what the purpose of because it is so open ended where you don't even know who the fuck it is. It could be some random,
Sure.
but I wouldn't put it past them of like them implying it that it's
Yeah, yeah,
Ash,
yeah.
and then them being like, I wonder if they'll figure it out, right? Let's put a picture on the stairwell type
Yeah.
of thing. And I think that's dumb. So I didn't I definitely thought of it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's pretty obvious when you're into the Evil Dead lore,
Right.
especially like
Or like
I watched Army of Darkness, Evil Dead, and
hmm.
Evil Dead Rise all 2 days before I watched this movie. So I was in the universe. And so
And I
and
think
especially
as
you watch Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rise and there's no Ash reference, right?
okay.
And then you would go to Evil Dead Burn and then you have an Ash reference. Feels stupid.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking like I wonder if this is like a thing because I just don't I when I'm saying I don't remember a thing from the last two movies, I'm not joking. Like it's
Yeah.
completely gone. But I think also just in this like if you're just a current movie watcher, I think your brain just goes to like if they mention like oh my grandpa, it's like oh they're trying to reference, you know what I mean? Like they're like
Yeah,
oh
yeah,
they're referencing like the nostalgia thing.
for
But
sure.
I don't know. Who cares? It's not that big of a deal. But
Yeah.
yeah, anyways.
Okay. So we discussed Evil Dead Burn. I didn't get as mad at you as I thought I was. I think the beauty of it is that we don't agree on every new movie that comes out, and that's great,
Yeah,
right? It and it's doing well at the box office from what I've heard. I think it
I think
made
it's
like
decent. Yeah.
200% of its budget back in the first 48 hours. I saw something
I
like
think it was
that.
at yeah, like 23 million or something. Or
It cost 20 million and it's already at like 50 million in the box office or some shit. In like the first weekend.
yeah,
Um,
people want
it's
Evil
cool.
Dead movies. I don't
I really hope.
what's the general reception is positive, I think. Right?
I think it's like mid.
Mid. Yeah, like
Like
mixed.
it's. I think it's sitting at a 3.4, which in
That's pretty
consensus kind
high.
of feels. But it's so early. It's gonna. It's gonna
Yeah.
go down. It's gonna hit like 3.2. It's just
Yeah.
kind of gonna be. It just kind of feels like that run of the mill trilogy. People love Evil Dead Rise, which I don't hate them
Right.
for.
They do.
Yeah, there's some great stuff in Evil Dead Rise. I also was thinking while watching Evil Dead Rise and being like, there's no way that this movie was good enough for The Mummy to be called Lee Cronin's The Mummy because like Evil Dead Rise is like one of the only things Lee Cronin made before The Mummy, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, he
Oh
made
yeah,
Evil
right,
Dead
right.
Rise. It's like, okay, now we can call it Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Like, I actually think they're way different because Evil Dead Rise doesn't feel too crazy. Like it doesn't. I don't know.
Hmm. What's your all right? We got to
But
do Evil Dead rankings real quick.
okay, yeah, let's do
Go
an
for
Evil
it.
Dead ranking. So there's six of them, right?
Yeah.
So six, I'll go 2013's Evil Dead, and then number five, I'll go Evil Dead Rise, and then four, I'll go the original Evil Dead. That was four, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And then three, I'll go Army of Darkness.
Okay.
Two, I'll go Evil Dead Burn, and
Okay.
then one, I'll go Evil Dead 2.
Okay. I have at Okay, at the bottom, I have Evil Dead Burn. At the next one, I have Evil Dead Rise. And then at the 4, I have Evil Dead 2013. And then at the 3, I have Original Evil Dead, then Army of Darkness, and then at 1, Evil Dead 2.
I think Evil Dead 2 is like consensus
Yeah.
number. That movie is so good.
Yeah.
I
It's
remember
like
watching that movie. I
the
was like,
best.
holy fuck.
Yeah.
It's just stylistically like one of the most fun movies I've ever seen.
Yeah, I don't think anyone could have a bad time watching it, It's
Yeah,
just
it's so great. I also watched that the day my cat died,
oh.
and like before she died,
Oh.
and then I followed it after my cat died with Cats, the musical. So I went from the
Yikes.
highs of Evil Dead
Yeah.
2 to my cat dying to something even worse is watching Cats by Tom Hooper. So
Worse than your
it was
cat
just
dying?
yeah, it's a travesty, that movie. It's a
Yeah,
true travesty. Um,
that's great.
yeah.
Alright.
Okay, so we'll talk about the invite a little bit.
Yes, finally.
This movie's really interesting because I actually compare it very similarly to my experience with the drama.
Yeah, yeah, people are
Where
comparing them a lot for sure.
I really liked it the first time, mostly because the ending hit me. Like I liked it the same as I did the second time, but then the ending hit me just harder the first time, and then when the second time it just doesn't hit you as hard.
Mhm.
The biggest thing for me for the invite is I don't think they have enough sentimental stuff in it. The second time around when I watched it, I kind of realized that it's kind of taking so much time talking about all this sex stuff. Kind of the script is great. Just
Yeah,
talking
written
about
by Rashida Jones and
which is
Will
crazy.
McCormick or some is that
I
his
was like,
name? Something like that.
Rashida Jones is cooking here. I was
Yeah,
like, this is great.
yeah. Remake of a
And
Spanish movie that came out in 2020 called The People
yeah, sentimental
Upstairs.
or sentimental. I thought it was sentimental by Seth Grey.
I I
Something like
I
that.
saw s I we both haven't seen it, I don't think so.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, I think it's really well directed. I thought the same thing about it the second time. I think it really just boils down to like my opinion from going from a four to a three and a half was just like I realized how much time they're spending on just like the riff, just riffing back and forth, and it's great. Like I love the riff. Everything's really smart with the script. It works really well. It's just the end sequence, which is really depressing and sweet and kind of has this moment where you're just like, whoa, that kind of puts it the whole movie into context. I wish there was more context given beforehand to where it makes like you see more sentimental stuff there. Like I understand they're trying to do this like angry couple type of thing, and the acting is great. Seth Rogen is amazing.
Yeah.
I think Edward Norton's the best. Like
I might
has
say
this.
Penelope Cruz, but they're all. I mean, Ed Norton is incredible, and it's kind of like I can't imagine anyone else. Like if a different
Oh
actor played
yeah,
their role, it would be a different movie kind of thing. Where like these actors are so perfect.
and Olivia Wilde is really great at acting too. She has like these really quirky moments towards the beginning that are really fun, and then she has like these facial expressions
Yeah,
of like horniness at moments where you're
yeah.
like, oh, this is really
I
interesting, and I
have
like.
I'm mixed on Olivia Wilde's performance. I think she's overacting, like a lot of the time. That bothered me. That's kind of
Mm.
like one of my biggest critiques on the movie, which is not many. Like it's not this big thing because I like a lot of moment. Like yeah, she has very strong facial expressions. I think sometimes it's just a little ridiculous where everyone's kind of playing it a bit more like lived in and natural, and she's just like really over the top where it kind of takes me out a little bit where I'm like she's doing a lot here, but she's also hits some comedy beats that are really funny, the movie's hilarious.
Oh, it's still there. I
Yeah,
I laugh every.
it's really, really funny. It's honestly it's just like a treat of a movie. It's kinda just a great, just, that these kinds of movies that take place, kinda like One Apartment. I love that kinda movie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really funny. I think I actually really like how, um I haven't seen it a second time, but I kinda disagree where I like how mean they are to each other, and I like that there's hardly any kind of, like, sentimental moments because I think with, like, a couple that's that old and going through that, I think they're just, like, so trapped in, like, the moment where they cannot find, like, anything they like about each other, and they're just, like, constantly each other's enemy, like, no matter what, for bad reason, usually. And most of the movie, I think it's a really interesting critique or commentary on kind of, like, traditional family, like, nuclear family roles and kind of juxtaposing Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen, with kind of this, like, new age, more liberal, free-spirited couple that's new. They've only been dating a year, which is really interesting, compared to the they've been married for over 30 years or something like that. And it's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
and I mean, it seems like they're so much better, right? And I don't think the movie takes a side per se. I think it actually has really great nuance, especially when Ed Norton and Penelope Cruz, um, he corrects
Argue?
her on her
Yeah.
English, and they start arguing, and it's kind of like, yeah, these people are fake, like they're faking it, like they're
Yeah.
not, you know what I mean? They're acting like they're clearly better, as a couple, and they've got it figured out, but they don't, you know, and it's like, there's the ending too, it's kinda like, who's the one that's lasting here, you know? But also it's like these people hate each other and, like, fucking should not, like, it's like, can you recover from this? Like, do you just stick with it? What's the it's a weird thing, that I think made it super interesting, where it's kinda like, why are these people together? Like, man, I don't know. And I really loved the ending.
The
Sup
ending is so good.
I was surprised it
It's
went
so.
on that, especially because it starts with it. It bookends with
Yeah.
them learning the piano song together. Spoilers, and I guess. Um, and that's kind of the intro. The intro also awesome. Like, how it
Oh, it's so
starts with
great. The
it's fucking
lights.
doing all I'm like, "Holy fuck, dude." Like,
Yeah, and
Woody
then it cuts to, like,
Allen.
a
Yeah.
quick clip of him younger smiling, and then it cuts to, like, him in the auditorium, like,
Yeah.
kinda really low and down. Seth Rogen is so fucking funny in this movie,
Yes.
mostly because he's so, logical. Like, everything he's saying is so logical. Like, I'm like, "This makes complete sense why he's angry," like, a lot of the time, right? He's, like, confused, he's angry.
Yeah.
The relationship between him and Hawk, of, like,
Yeah,
them
yeah, they're so
having,
funny.
this
I
bitter
know. But
rivalry,
they
but Hawk's, like, really
Hawk
nice to him.
loves him.
I love how honest you
Yeah.
are, and I like when he goes, "Joe? Joe." And, like, he's, like,
Yeah,
kinda
yeah.
playing it. Edward Norton is so good in this movie,
Yeah.
and Penelope Cruz is sexy as hell, and I love her
Yeah.
accent, and
Yeah.
I like when they're smoking weed.
Yes.
Penelope Cruz and Seth
Yeah.
Rogen are smoking weed, and they're talking about all these, animal names. So, like, "Hey,
Yeah.
here's my boyfriend Pelican," and they're,
Pigeon.
like, laughing, and she's like, "Don't make me laugh at my boyfriend's name," and
Yeah.
all this stuff. It's,
Right.
like, kinda funny, and it's, like, it's not Hamon, it's actually pastrami,
That
and
is
and
maybe my favorite joke, or it's
and s
prosciutto. They're like, "That's just prosciutto,
yeah,
right? It's just
and
prosciutto."
and Seth
It's
Rogen's like, yeah, and if you told her that, she would probably kill herself in the
yeah.
kitchen, in the living room, and it's just like
It's
it's
so
so
funny.
hilarious.
Yeah, yeah.
I like the colors sequence when they're discussing. I think that sequence is really well edited, where they're both in separate rooms when they're smoking weed in the thing, and she's kind of giving a house tour, and it kind of makes it seem like, oh, can I get your advice or something? And then they cut talking about divorce in the office, and you kind of make it seem like she's going to ask if she should divorce her husband. And then even Edward Norton's response when the camera stays on him is like, oh, do you see yourself holding hands on the beach like this?
Hmm.
Do you see
Right.
yourself holding or meeting someone, a stranger in a cafe? And it's like, yeah, I think I do like the Copenhagen. And then it cuts over and they're talking about paint. And there's these people sitting next to me that's like, oh, thank God. And I kind of just love that.
Yeah.
Just kind of playing with you in all these different
Yeah.
ways. And Olivia Wilde directs the shit out of this movie.
Yeah.
Like the blocking is so good within the house, and I like the structure of the house with the pillars in the middle and kind of separating people with the bed, with a pillar between different rooms, separating one person from the rest. I like Seth Rogen kind of being like he can't believe that they're wanting to have sex with him too. And then
Yeah.
all the thing about the window sequence, like them
Yeah.
talking about the which kind of goes away as soon as he gets involved.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, we're fine with it. Yeah,
He
it's such a smart movie.
I
It's so
love
good.
the dynamics between them, especially in the first half before the real kind or the reveal. Is it a reveal? I feel like it was in the trailer or something, you know what I mean? But whatever. I won't, say it. But that's a funny part, the reveal. But the dynamics before the reveal, where it's kind of just them, just two couples, and they split up at a certain point, right? Where I think it's when they go to smoke the joint, and there's this really beautiful like sexual tension between both of them, where they're sitting really close with the joint, or they're in, you
Doing the
know
tattoos.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but also kind of so it works on that level of the sexual tension for maybe foreshadowing or something like that. But it also, I think, works for the main couple as a kind of like look at them happier with a new person or like a different person. Maybe even happier than with Ed Norton, right? Penelope Cruz maybe is happier with Seth Rogen, right? She like clearly has a thing for Seth Rogen where she makes like a joke like you would get picked, like you wouldn't get picked last, like you would get picked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, and I think it's really bizarre, and it makes it super fun to watch. Just kind of waiting for this to unfold. But I think it adds so much to the core relationship of the movie. And they also have a kid, which was strange because the kid's not in it at all. Did they say where the kid was?
Yeah, she was at a sleepover at Katie's, and because
Oh.
they're talking like, I don't know if we should let her hang around with Katie. She's kind of weird.
Mhm.
And then that's like one of the first big comedy beats. And then he's pissing, and she's like, yeah, I called her, and she's single. And then he's like, well, you called her to ask if she was single? She goes, yeah, that's normal. He goes, that is not normal. Um,
Okay.
it's so fun watching this movie because like there's so many just hilarious moments, like the wine when
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde's like whispering, it's like, get the anniversary wine, get the anniversary wine.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then Ed Norton just kind of does this super casual thing where it's like, are you sure this is the time?
Yeah.
Are you sure this
It's
is
like
the
so
moment? He goes,
clearly not the time. It's like
yeah.
yeah,
And then
it's so
and
good.
then he struggles to get the cork open, and then Edward Norton does another
Right.
amazing line where he's like, I believed in you, Joe. I was rooting for you, Joe. Something like that. And it's just like
Right.
hilarious. Like they're just so nice. Um, and I love Olivia Wilde for a little more than I thought I would because her character just kind of makes sense being kind of over the top. She
You
just kind of
think?
seems like the stressed out person that
Yeah.
does Xanax. She doesn't, she's like it kind of reminds me of my mom because like whenever we have guests coming over, my mom's rushing to do everything. She's vacuuming, she's doing this, like, she's trying to make everything perfect. She wants the house to smell good. She wants us to clean our room, like she wants to put the right kind of music on. She's stressing over what type of music. And I just kind of felt like my mom in that moment, especially when her and Edward Norton are about to have sex, right? And she's more worried about like the dirty kitchen. She's like, "Oh, I should have wiped this up
Right.
earlier." And Ed Norton's kind of standing there like, "Bro, let's
Right.
just."
I think there's in the wine scene even, um, where they're kind of like arguing whether to do it or not. I think even then, I think there's some moments like that that I think, not that I think they're bad or anything, but I think they could be like I think the movie could be better if it lent itself to be a little more subtle about, you know, like they're arguing and she's like, "Don't fucking do it." Like they're going like really loud and they're like obviously right there. And it's just going like a little like much where I think like the kind of movie it is, um, just like things are just a little obvious where I think there's so many great details, right, that don't need it. Like I think it works so well already as it is, right? Like the paint on the wall and him deciding, or the him with the rug.
Yeah.
That rug is so funny. And
I just want to
the
lay
wine
down on this
bottle.
rug,
Huh?
and then he's like Ed Norton's like, I just want to lay on this rug
Yeah.
naked, and then Olivia Wilde says a really quick line, and she goes, "Do it." She's like,
Right,
"Do
right.
it."
Yeah, there's great
Or
foreshadowing with
I
that.
think my favorite line in the movie is before they even show up, and Seth Rogen's like, "Is that a new shirt?" And she goes, "Yeah." And then he goes, "It looks really nice." And then she goes, "Well, you could tell me that once in a
Yeah,
while."
right.
And
He's like, "I just
walks away.
did."
He's like, "I just told you." And it's just so hilarious. I also love the
It's
music.
relatable.
The music's kind of like hitting the beats. Like the biggest example is after he comes in, they're arguing. She goes, "We just need to reset." Right? And he goes, "It's not going to work, but okay." He steps outside and he comes back in, and it's like, "Hey, what do we have planned tonight?" Right? And they're doing all this, and it's like kind of soft music. And then as soon as he brings up that they should invite them over another time instead, the music starts going back to like this tension thing, like these
Mhm.
piano notes. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I like how it's just doing this mood switch thing and kind
Okay,
of playing with it. It
that's
kind of feels like,
interesting. That is
you
my
don't like it?
biggest critique of the movie. Um,
Okay.
not to be always like a fucking dick, but um, it's
You need a
my
new co-host, bro. That agrees with me. No, I'm kidding.
like, oh, that I hate that. No.
Yeah.
Um,
The
yeah,
one thing you like,
yeah, right. Um, no, yeah, that was like like instantly my biggest critique of the movie. I think I stopped noticing it, which is good, but it was definitely a lot of the first half. I guess like kind of when they're first getting in the apartment, I can remember where the score is very heavy-handed, where I feel like it's telling you exactly what to feel. Like it's very like it's like the switch would be very like it would be intense strings and then it would be like soft when like there's soft and then where it's like
yeah.
you know what I mean, where it's like it's a score that's very obvious, um which just didn't work for me. I was just
I
I
think
I
I
didn't
think it
like
just
it.
I think to me it just like adds a little bit of tension to the room and it's not I agree it's obvious. Like obviously it's there and you can tell that the mood switch is happening. I think why it kind of works is it's just like allowing the tone to be set by a line of dialogue. A line of dialogue ends and that sets the mood off,
I think
right?
it's already set though,
I
you
know,
know?
but like if that wasn't there, like I'm trying to think of like what other score could they
It
do?
would just be
You know, like
awkward. Like I think it would allow us to live in the moment a little more. Like
would you have preferred the movie to have no score?
I think it can have a score, but I there's a movie that I really think about with in comparison is Carnage by Roman Polanski, which is the whole movie is two couples in an apartment who are different couples and they kind of battle about how different they are. Um, right? So,
Yeah.
and I from my memory, there is a lot less. I don't want to say no score because I don't know, but I don't remember there being a super prominent score, and there's like diegetic sounds and stuff like that in the movie that like creates the atmosphere, which I really liked. And so, kind of in a way, I think there's again, I didn't notice at the second half of the movie that there's score. I just think there's like parts where the score could just let
Yeah.
things be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, if you guys haven't seen The Invite, I would strongly recommend you watch this. I recommend it to my parents
Yeah,
because I want them to go see it together.
yeah,
It did remind me of my parents a lot, not in like a negative way. Especially like the final
sure.
scene because my dad's a musician, and I think just like the kind of moments I thought a lot of the daughter during this too. Even though she's not there, I was just thinking about the
Mm,
daughter a lot
yeah, yeah,
because
for sure.
like parents are so different behind closed doors, you know? Especially like especially with the context of them being super emphatically interested in these people's sex lives, right? Especially Olivia Wilde. She's like, tell me more, tell me more. Like, what's this? And she does the DP thing, which is hilarious. And it's like kind of awkward.
Yeah,
They're like,
right.
DP, it's on the menu. It's on the menu.
They're
I
like,
don't do it,
yeah, right.
but it's on the menu. And she's like, oh, but she's
Yeah,
like trying to reverse out of it. But I think it's like that kind of dynamic of your parents are so different, like before you're born, before like
yeah,
when you're away, especially like when it comes to arguing, right? Like kind of hiding it. And Penelope Cruz says something great. It's like, do you think that your daughter doesn't feel this hatred?
yeah, right.
And that's so huge. I know a lot of friends that have had parents stay until they leave the house, right? And then they divorce after. And it's like my friends have been telling me since they were in middle school that they knew their parents are going to get divorced,
Yeah,
right? And but it's also like that sweet ending of them realizing kind of why they fell in love, right? Of like the music thing happening and her hand coming in and her leaning
yeah,
her head on his shoulder. It's like, oh, like it just makes me think of my parents in an interesting way. Where it's
yeah,
just like you don't see your parents very sweetly romantic as much, which I guess is good, right? But it's also like you kind of want to see that a little
yeah,
bit,
yeah. I think that's a
Like you
good thing. Yeah.
like her like you kind of put herself in the perspective of like girls that you're dating or your age, like
Hmm.
they're going to be mothers one day, and it's like you can see the love that they have for you through through her eyes, right? The way that she looks at you or the way you look at a girl, and you kind of look at your dad in a different way. It's like, man, my dad used to look at my mom probably like this, like how I'm feeling about this girl right now,
Mm.
and I don't see that anymore, and it's sad. And it's like this cool dynamic that you have off base, especially like that's why I love the daughter being like a topic of conversation pretty
Yeah.
early on. It kind of sets them apart of being like, oh, they have a kid. These people don't have a kid. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I love the like when Penelope Cruz becomes a therapist. I mean that those
Oh,
you know bricks of dialogue are kind of have to be great, and they really hit the mark. Ed
the line when
Norton,
she says we used to be best friends.
yeah,
She goes, "We used to be friends," and then Seth Rogen goes, "That's true." That it broke me. I was like,
yeah.
"Holy,
Well,
so
and
sad."
like him like that who decided to be miserable, right? Or like they blame each other. Like that whole that's a not like
Or like I ran 11 blocks to come find
yeah,
you. Did you
right.
ever know?
Yeah.
He goes, "No." And then I love how what he says after that. He's always making something a joke, and
Yeah.
and he says, "I just thought you were a really sweaty person or ate some bad shrimp." And you can hear off camera Olivia Wilde laugh to that, like kind of giggle. And it made me think in that moment that she probably loved his sense of humor of being like this. He has a really dark sense of humor, probably when they met, right? And it's probably
Yeah.
just got it by the way he's doing it now.
I mean, he definitely has I think a lot of his humor now, like I think you could almost see like traces of like a funny guy or like, that kind of thing. but and I mean, he's funny, but in a way of like a lot of his humor is kind of like a defense mechanism, I feel like, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of deflecting this thing, like in a relatable way a lot of the times, but
Yeah.
very much a defense mechanism for kind of a lot of the
Yeah.
things he's going through. Um, and so I think, him feeling like a failure and kind of being like, "Oh, I teach like a shitty school and like why would I even try to be happy?" When he says, "Just let me be miserable," like just let me be, like why can't you let me be miserable and just like be? Like that is, you know, I, I'm it I don't want to say relatable, but it's a like you can see that. You can empathize with that, so hard, I
Yeah.
think, where you just go so far down that hole, right? And I think it going back to the ending, him reopening the piano is such a great kind of, motif, right? Like the piano, him like kind of finally opening up again or like, you know, kind of choosing to not let his past, dictate, you know, the way he lives his life, right? And kind of
Yeah.
opening up in that way. And so he's able to, open up to his marriage where it's kind of like, was he I think kind of he is the problem in the relationship, kind of. Not that it's
I agree.
only him,
Yeah,
but
obviously.
I think he is kind of it's kind of like if I had to put a blame on someone.
There's a line he says that really solidifies that for me, where
Oh,
he
okay.
says, "You're my wife, you're supposed to love me, you're supposed to find
Mm,
me attractive."
yeah.
And that's like, and she's like, "What are you talking about?" And I
Yeah.
love that, where
Yeah.
you can kind of tell that he just doesn't put any effort because he's in this comfortable situation of having a wife, where doesn't feel like he has to work for it anymore. And like any happy married couple will tell you, happy marriages take effort,
Yeah,
like constant effort,
totally. Like he's
right?
expecting it.
Yeah, he's expecting just to have a lazy night with her, right? And that's why they don't have sex, is because he has to put extra effort in. He's not willing to do that. That doesn't show like true love, really, right?
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, this movie is just such a tight script. It's so fun.
Yeah, Rashida Jones, way to go.
Yeah, wait.
Whoa.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is going
And
on?
even Olivia Wilde. It's like I didn't know she could do that.
Yeah, great
Like
comeback.
after
Great
Don't Worry,
comeback.
Darling. Like, are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
doing some great
Awesome. I
stuff.
mean, you could see so
Like,
much of her inspiration too in this movie, right? That's like so fun and like, damn, I'm excited for her next movie. Who would
yeah,
have thought?
remember I was mentioning Hitchcock. Hitchcock's
Yeah.
probably for sure inspiration, like
Bergman,
Rope.
Woody Allen,
Yeah. It's
tons.
just it's cool seeing a woman director, especially like someone who has made bad movies like her in the past, being able to do that good of directing and also being like pretty good acting wise in front of the camera.
Yeah.
Like
No,
she's
yeah, absolutely.
great, just great job by her. I'm really impressed. Um, okay.
All
I
right.
actually hope it gets some Oscar nominations too for acting,
Yeah, I don't think
because
it
that would be
will, but
I don't think it
it would be
will. It's too
great.
early.
Ed Norton should
Or
win an
direct.
Oscar. Like this is the role of
Ed Norton
his
is so good. Yeah,
last
it's
30
so
years,
good.
you know what I mean?
I like how he hates firemen, and he
Right,
likes
right.
firefighters.
And
He's always
I love the moment where he's like, "Oh, I'm into Rolfing now," and then when Seth Rogen hurts his back, he's like, don't Rolf on me right now." That's just so
yeah,
funny.
and also that angle of when he's like behind him, it's like a very sexual position, if
Right.
you notice.
Yeah,
He's
great
it's
compositions. I mean, it
oh yeah.
really, really interesting compositions. So I was like, the whole time I'm like, Olivia Wilde, man. Wow.
Yeah,
Can't believe
Seth
it.
Rogen in dramatic roles is just it just feels right. It's
Yeah.
so
Oh,
great.
I'm loving Seth Rogen right now. Like,
Yeah.
I love Seth Rogen. I'm
I
glad
think
that
I think I'm
he's.
gonna start watching the studio soon. I think I have to start watching the
I watched a
studio
few
soon.
episodes actually.
It looks good and it looks like exactly like my type of thing.
Yeah. I mean,
So
it's fun watching like he gets real actor like Olivia Wilde's in it and like he'll like as a director, right? And like, so that's like fun where you get to see like Ron Howard, your guy, has an episode. I watched that.
yeah, I like the Dave Franco. the Dave
Oh,
Franco
really?
bit.
I don't think I saw that.
I've seen the clips of that with like the mushrooms. It's like, oh, 100, you had 100 grams of mushrooms, and he's like going all crazy or whatever. Okay, but we're gonna go into what we watched this week. I'm gonna try and be as quick as possible
Yeah,
because I,
we'll
I
go
I did a
quicker this
big
episode.
I did a big I had a lot of horror movie week, which is
Sweet.
crazy, and a big Sam Raimi thing. So
Yeah.
I watched Spider-Man 2, which is great, and then Spider-Man 3, which is my favorite. Um, I love Spider-Man 3. There's something about it. It's like
Yeah.
it's one. I unfortunately think Spider-Man 2 is the worst. I don't know
Hmm.
what I'm thinking there. It's just something I don't know.
Okay.
And then I watched Bronson, um,
Cool.
which is like really strange because I think I'm gonna watch every Nicholas Winding Refn movie before I go see him in person
Doesn't he have a
because
lot of
I
movies?
he I've seen five and I have five more. So he has like 10 movies. This is
Oh,
his
okay.
11th. Um, but I'm gonna go see him front row Q&A and probably meet him after. So I just kind of want to watch everything he's done if I'm gonna meet the guy.
For sure.
And Bronson was just like a short movie to watch after because I watched
Yeah.
Spider-Man 2, 3, Bronson, and Event Horizon in the same day, so I had not a lot of time. Bronson's all right. I think it's like the most mid movie ever, probably in my opinion,
Really?
because
Oh, I
there's
like
so
Bronson.
many there's so many amazing things,
Yeah.
and then there's so many things that don't work, and
Yeah,
it just kind
fair.
of evens out.
It's true, but
Like
I think
Tom Hardy's performance, like
yeah,
sometimes is just like way overacted and sometimes really good. And
it's a
so it's
bizarre
like
performance.
it's a constantly confusing movie. I love the score. Nicholas Winding Refn has like my favorite scores ever. I love his electronic scores.
Hmm.
Um, and then I watched Event Horizon in theaters. R.I.P. Sam Neill, who died today.
Yeah,
Um,
really
which
sad.
is crazy after I
Yeah.
just saw Event Horizon with him. Um, reminds me a lot of Sunshine. It's almost like exactly like Sunshine to me. It feels a lot like it.
Yeah, right.
It didn't go as dark as I wish it would. Like I actually think Sunrise goes a little darker,
Hmm.
or Sunshine, sorry. Sunshine goes a little darker. Um, kind of the motif of it like being hell in this black hole. I kind of wish we saw something a little more gnarly, like when it does the flashes of hell. It's like okay, it just looks like gore or whatever. Great tension in the ship though. There's great tension. Um, it just kind of feels like an ode to a lot of just like Alien in particular, you know. Um, it's a fine movie. I just wasn't blown away. Um, performances are great. Lawrence Fishburne. It kind of feels older than it is, which is really interesting. Kind of feels older than 97. Kind of feels like an 80s film, especially with the acting styles. Like the way that the acting is going on. And also it just doesn't feel like what I'm used to with Paul W.S. Anderson, you know? Like it's not as like grandiose CGI weirdness that I liked with Pompeii.
Right.
Um, it
It's
kind
an
of just feels
earlier
like
one.
it's early in his career. We had like an intro with a guy that really likes the movie, and he was like, "Okay,
Hmm.
guys, he made this the same year as Boogie Nights," and then everyone just starts laughing because Paul W. Sanderson, so he
Oh.
called him Paul Anderson. He's like made it the same year as Boogie Nights, and everyone was laughing. I was like, "Oh, brother." And then I watched Army of Darkness, which I love. It's a really funny film, a lot of cool one-liners.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
great one. I think
and
about that
I
movie a
kind of
lot.
it's kind of strange how it actually works. Like,
Yeah.
taking it back in
You
time,
don't
like why does
expect
this
it.
work? And the
Yeah.
romance is kind of funny. Like, like he like makes out with her, and then he says like the way that he says "baby" is really funny. He's like, "Yeah, baby," and it's just
Bruce
like
Campbell
you're
is
just
so
laughing.
good.
Yeah, he's so amazing. Then I watched Evil Dead, Evil Dead Rise, and Evil Dead Burn. So I watched four same Raimi inspired movies, I guess, in a row.
Produced.
Yeah. And then I rewatched I Am Easy to Find, which I didn't like as much the second time started
Oh,
to some flaws.
really?
I didn't like it as
That's
much. It
sad.
kind of felt a little too obvious. I kind of see why you don't like it. Um, but there's still some great moments in it, and I still like it. And then I watched The Sheep Detectives, which is maybe one of the biggest surprises of the year for me, because I
All
cried.
right.
So
Oh
I
yeah.
cried to Sheep
That's what everyone's
Detectives.
saying. Everyone's like, man, sheep detectives.
It's pretty good. It's like a Knives Out Paul King. It's like Knives
Ooh.
Out made by Paul King. It's like really strange that it works. Um, the actual plot and mystery of it all, ass. Like it's not like shocking at all, or it's not like a huge place crazy plot twist. I think it's just like the sweetness of the vibes is really where you're going for, and the sheep is fun. I really enjoyed watching it. And then I watched The Hidden Fortress in theaters. Probably one of the funniest movies ever made. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is funny.
Holy shit. From minute one, it's hilarious.
Yeah, it
Like,
starts on the two, right?
yeah. It's this whole like the whole theater was just cackling. I watched it in a packed
Oh, that's
theater.
so fun. I'm
Yeah.
so
And
jealous.
it was great. I definitely felt the runtime a little bit towards the middle. Um, and it didn't feel like it was doing as much crazy stuff for me with like plot wise with Kurosawa, you know. Um, again, like I love Kurosawa. I just have high expectations when it comes to him. I'm not knocking the movie in general, you know. It's just not one of my favorite Kurosawas. And a lot of what it comes down to is like you just put it into the Kurosawa list and you're kind of comparing it. And I just immediately was just like, yeah, Yojimbo and Sanjuro are just better. I just kind of like that kind of style of Kurosawa a little bit more, you know? Um, but dude, the wipe transitions in this are so amazing. Uh, there's a moment where it happens like 10 times in the span of 2 minutes. I'm like, okay, we get it. You can wipe the camera, but I
He's
do
going a
like the
little Lee
effect it gives.
Cronin.
Yeah. Stop with the split diopters, bro. Just wiping dude, imagine if this movie was every single transition was a wipe. I literally was thinking that at some point. I was like, oh, every transition is going to be a wipe. But no, like the comedic duo is hilarious, and I love the whole like side plot of the gold, like them just being obsessed with the gold. I think that's what really holds this together as like a really great narrative. Um, and it's cool to know that Mifune was like supposed to play Obi-Wan, and that's really fun.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched The Invite, and then I watched Contagion, which is it's one of the most bizarre movies I've ever seen because it literally predicted COVID almost exactly. Because Contagion, at the end of the movie, the plot twist is that the virus came from a bat
Mm,
in China, and I was like, "Are
mm.
you serious right now? This is so insane!" Like, that's literally like what the
Right.
discussion was about COVID starting.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, is like, did that come from this movie? Did
I
that
think
just like
there
come into pop culture and just like
there's a
someone came up with
history
that?
of I took an epidemiology class, and so I like
Oh
learned a
wow.
lot about history and like the start of diseases and how we tend to like scapegoat places in the east, right, as like as they started it, like
Yeah.
even like like the Spanish flu is named that to like blame them for it, but like other countries don't call it that. They call it a different country to like put blame on a country they don't
That's
like or
all.
something like that. And so like COVID was the same where like it was kind of that was like the thing. And I don't think it's it's not like credible. It's just kind of like
Yeah.
a thing. And like I think China was often blamed a lot in like those countries. But I don't know about a bat. Like I would be curious if like they called the bat. I mean bats are popular as like disease spreaders, but like specifically that coming out in 2011, like that, you know what I mean?
It was
They could have picked anywhere. So
me and my friend watching it. We're like, what the fuck is going on?
yeah.
This is like the last, and Gwyneth Paltrow's like small intro, like she dies like 5 minutes into the film.
Right. I remember that.
She's just great. There's a great plot twist with her. I won't spoil like what happens in
Yeah.
Chicago. But yeah, and then I watched Dracula, which I'll talk about. And then I just got back from Bahubali, the Epic by S.S. Ramanjuli, and one of the best movies ever made. It's visually stunning, uh, CGI galore, and just Bollywood epicness. Like I don't, so there's something about Bollywood that like I really like, and it's the best score I've ever witnessed. The score made me levitate. I was like, what the hell? It's 4 hours long, 10-minute intermission, and I loved every single minute of it. And it's political, does a lot of religious things with like Hindu
Mm.
religion that is just so interesting. And I love their dedication, like that culture's dedication to like their one God. Like I know in India, like certain areas of India like worship like one specific God more than the rest. I think this one was Shinvu was their big god. And there's just so many things that just aren't realistic in this movie, and it's just so fun. Like there's in the opening sequence, a grandma is like drowning in a river and cries out to Shinvu to save her grandbaby that she's holding. And so she just holds up the baby out of the water and she dies with her hand just staying there until someone finds it. It's
That's
just so great. I don't know. There's just something so weird and bizarre about it. And there's a 1 hour long battle that is so insane. It just goes on forever of just an hour long of just action sequence with all these cool battle tactics involved with great action sequences and like weird gadgets that they're using. I'm like, there's no way they had a spinning revolving spear in that time. There's no way. It's literally like a
mhm.
car almost, just
Yeah.
running into people during this huge battle sequence. And there's like the dynamics between all these people are so insane. It feels like you're watching the Bible. It's so epic. I would recommend anyone to watch it. I saw the epic version, which is 90 minutes shorter than like the original two movies separate. So I would actually say go watch the original two movies separate on Netflix because I can't imagine the extra 90 minutes are going to make it worse. I actually think it would probably make it better. I want to spend more time in this world because it's so unique. You don't see movies like Bollywood anymore. And just seeing it in this technology is so amazing. It genuinely a masterpiece. So yeah.
Sweet.
It's my highest rated 4.5 star. So it's like my 33rd favorite movie. I'm waiting to watch the original two to give it 5 stars. Like
Yeah. I mean, you gotta
it's
watch all this guy's movies.
yeah, I mean he has some that are like I know aren't like this kind of style
Hmm.
because he started pretty early and he doesn't have the technology then. But
Hmm.
Iga, I'm really excited for because the plot of that movie is a man gets killed by like a bad gangster and then he comes back, he gets reincarnated as a housefly to get revenge. It's like that
All
sounds
right.
so cool. I'm like, that just
Yeah.
sounds sick. Like, who's coming up with these
Yeah.
ideas? Only this guy. Like a housefly getting revenge just sounds so lit. Like you can't get any better than Bollywood. I'm actually dedicating my life to watching one Bollywood movie a month now because I just love them so
Yeah.
much, and it's definitely like not like in especially Western culture, people don't watch Indian
Yeah.
movies as much, and they're just so great. Um, and they're kind of like shunned upon, right? They're kind of just like, oh, those are like the weird movies.
Yeah.
Um,
Because they're so
and I think
different.
they're so different, but I think the weirdness is what gives it character, but it
Yeah.
also it feels so epic. And yeah, I'm probably gonna go on the streets and just like start handing out flyers. Like this SS needs to just start hiring me to do some promo for this because I'll talk about it every day of my life.
Yeah. All right. Um, okay. I watched Written on the Wind by Douglas Sirk, which is really good. It's so good. It's basically like this kind of love triangle thing where Lauren Bacall starts to flirt with Rock Hudson, Like they have a lot of chemistry going on, and then this third guy enters who's best friends with Rock Hudson, and the best friend and Lauren Bacall end up getting married and that stuff. Um, and yeah, that's kind of the setup. He's kind of like this playboy. The best friend's like this playboy guy, and Rock Hudson is, um, um, more of like the sensible, like smart. He's like the cool guy, I guess. And then it's funny, the best friend's like sister is like the town whore. Like that's like her thing. But she really wants Rock Hudson, and it's really good. I would say like literally the first 3 minutes of this movie, I think I was like, I think this is gonna be my favorite movie ever made. Like it's that good. It's also just beautiful Technicolor. Um, it's Douglas Sirk. The first 3 minutes, it's like it's got a theme song, like the song like written in the wind, and it's kind of this montage of like the characters. It's almost like a soap opera theme song starting. That's just like so beautiful, and it sets up the movie really well, where it's kind of like montaging all these things, and you see these characters, and this guy's drunk and he's mad, and he goes in the house and you hear a gunshot, and then he walks out, someone walks out and then falls on the ground like they got shot, and then the camera goes into a calendar, and the wind, written in the wind, the wind flips through calendar pages, and you go back in time, and it's like, and then the movie starts, and it's just like
Oh,
holy
good.
cinema. um then I
So
watched, yeah,
what made it a 4 star if it started out so perfect? Like
just
you
lost a bit
think,
of steam, like to the
yeah,
point where, I think, for that 4.5, you got to keep that shit. And I mean,
yeah,
it was, just wasn't quite there. I mean, I could see myself rewatching it and loving it more, maybe, but I don't know.
yeah. The only movie I've ever felt like that was Eyes Wide Shut. Like the first 7 minutes in the Christmas party, I was like, oh, this is like the best thing I've ever
Yeah, yeah,
seen. The
I could
only
see that.
difference is it held that.
Right. I was gonna say. No, but it's really great. I'm not undermining it. Then I watched The Noise I Keep by this fucking weirdo director, really a creep. Um,
Yeah, he's weird.
in the vein of Woody Allen and Polanski.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was a little controversial watching it. But everyone should go check it out. Go go watch that. Um, yeah. Then I watched,
By okay, before we go further,
yeah.
because of all the shit he said, I directed that movie,
Oh,
by the
oh, that
way.
was you. Oh shit. My
I
fault.
directed that movie. It's on Letterbox. Yeah, I was really happy that Luke actually liked it.
Yeah,
I
it's
was
good.
nervous that just some his co-host and his friend that he just hearted it because he knows me, but you actually liked it though, or no?
Yeah, no, there's a cool aspect of being a spectator to kind of like I feel like there's a space outside of what's going on. That was really
Yeah,
interesting. That's kind of,
yeah.
yeah. Yes, go watch it, please. Please.
Please.
And then I rewatched The Scarecrow because I wanted to show my mom a Buster. She had no idea who Buster Keaton was, and
That's crazy.
I know. I was like, "Mom,
You gotta
this is
show her
bad."
Minions and Monsters. That should have been, you know?
Yeah, I gotta put her on. I gotta like. That's the segue now. Um,
Yeah.
I honestly, Scarecrow might be my favorite. Just I was looking through them. I was like, which one do I show her that is like cool? I feel like my dog's like whining. I don't know if you can hear that. The Scarecrow, I just it's so fun, and it's so like it's kind of just clever nonstop. Um, there's like a scene at the beginning where they have this like gadget dinner table, and they're drinking wine, and he like has this wine attached to the string on the ceiling, and he's pouring wine, and he like swings it to the guy across the table, pours it, swings it back, shuts it, um, and throws it, and it like falls in this bin, and it's all like one take, and there's just like a lot of there's a lot of that stuff going on. There's a lot of like little details that I just love.
Yeah.
Like I think they dump um the water from the bathtub outside and it dumps in this hole, and then a swan and all her like little children all like just go in the pond, and it's just like this is beautiful. This is so great. Um
Your mom think of it as her
she
first
liked it.
season.
She was like, "Oh, it was actually good." I was like, and that's the best I'll get from her.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, it was actually good."
That's a 5 star for a mom, honestly.
Exactly. Yeah. She didn't fall
An
asleep,
approval.
which was a concern.
Well, because what? Like what? 18 minutes.
But on average, she falls asleep 15 minutes in any
Oh,
movie.
okay.
Yeah, so that I was like, I don't know if she can even make it through this.
Yeah.
Um, then I watched My Fault London.
Why did you watch this? I saw you log this. I was like, what the fuck implored Luke to put this on? This is so strange.
um, so my girlfriend, she watched like most of it with her friends, and then they didn't finish it, and she was like, "Luke, like you have to watch this with me. Like it's so good. Like we gotta watch it." Um, and I was like, I couldn't say no. I made her watch like 3 Buster Keaton shorts in the past like month or something. So I was like, yeah, of course, sure. Like I don't, I've never seen it. I see some people I like. ah, Never mind.
George likes it,
Right,
from what I remember.
George
Likes it.
Carmi has it at 3 stars. There. Okay, so basically, the setup of the movie is there's this girl, and she moves to London because her mom is married to this guy in London, and like goes to London, and so the daughter then goes to London, and her new father has a son, which is her stepbrother, and that's the romance. Is she has a romance with her stepbrother, and so there's yeah, that's the setup. And here's the thing, it's like I kind of think it's a good idea. Like that to me is the best part of the movie because it messes with your I like movies that mess with your kind of like moral code inside, where they do have chemistry, right? And they don't they're just kind of, objectively they're just two people meeting each other, but there's these social confines where they're in a family together, so it's really fucking weird, right? And it is weird. I'm not defending that. But you know what I mean? Where like it kind of you kind of like are rooting for them, and they have chemistry, and so then it's weird, and there's something always like cringy about them being romantic. Is like, what the hell are you guys doing?
Yeah.
But what's kind of sucks about it is everything, because it instead of being a movie about that and making it kind of like a romance, it wants to be like Fast and Furious, and it's like it goes full on hardcore action movie. Like I'm not kidding. Like it goes full on action movie, and it just is terrible, right? Because it's this kind of straight to prime video movie trying to be an action movie when it's like it's horrible. And just like go back to like the romance stuff that was like fine. The romance stuff wasn't great, but it was like there's something there, I guess. Yeah, that's enough with My Fault London. There's a
Is there
sequel to
a is
that.
there a my is there a My Fault Paris? Like, why is it My Fault, and then, like, a colon, and then London? Is there,
I
like, a
don't
series?
really There is a series. So the next one is Your Fault London. So not a different city, just your. And then there's a third one coming out, Our Fault London. Um,
Okay.
Reviews
It's like
coming
the
soon on that.
After trilogy.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then I watched All That Heaven Allows. I bought the Criterion, and
Oh, you did?
um yeah, decided to it was like movie night with my girlfriend, and so I was like, "All right, like any of these Criterions look good?" And she picked that one. And I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's go." Because I just watched Written in the Wind. It's also a Douglas Sirk movie, and it's literally just one of the greatest movies ever made. Like it's so crazy. It's so incredible. So amazing. So beautiful. It's about this widow who's like a, middle-aged woman in kind of this high class suburbia, I would say. kind of in this tight knit social group of yeah, like upper class kind of white people, right? Like it's that kind of vibe. And then she starts to have like a thing with the younger, Rock Hudson, who's just the gardener, and he's like a poor person and who just wants to live a life kind of like in the mountains in nature, and he's kind of like that's his priorities. He doesn't care what other people think, and it goes to a lot of backlash of their relationship, um and the second half is so brilliant. Like the second half really picks up and it just becomes like awesome. Um I mean, yeah, it's just one of the great movies. Jane Wyman, one of the greatest performances probably ever. It's so lived in. It's so her facial expression. She gives so much with just like a look, like just a stoic face. You get so much emotion out of it. It's really, really incredible. I watched a Buster Keaton short, The Love Nest, which is one of the lesser ones for sure. It has a he kind of gets captured by pirates. So it sounds really fun. It's not it's like fine most of it. There's a really fun part at the end where he kind of gets blown up, and there's some like practical stuff that's really fun. Um then I watched Hong Sang-soo's Grass. We kind of talked a little bit about it. I was really taken aback. I really, really liked it. Um, I think because at first it kind of seems like it's a movie just cutting between different conversations. And I was like, okay, this is weird. I'm not like loving this. Um, but then it's kind of like there's just a thing with Hong Sang-soo where I haven't watched one of his movies in some months now, and I just go back to it, and there's just something so precious about his style of filmmaking that when I watch it, it's just like really kind of, I don't know, has like a really weird effect on me where I'm just kind of like, oh, like cinema can be like this, and it's so weird. And and the way that characters talk to each other in his movies, where they're kind of blunt and make things a little awkward, um and just have weird dynamics. There's like a scene where there's like a boyfriend and a girlfriend and the boyfriend's sister, and the sister starts like being really weird about like, oh, you guys like serious, you barely know each other, like why are you being like this? And a lot of the movie is kind of about um people like writing screenplays, or just writing on a Mac in a cafe, and just like really bizarre conversations. Yeah, I
All
mean
about
it.
like a like I what I appreciated about it is it feels very personal where you're like observing. Like I do that a lot. I'm in a coffee shop almost every day writing, or editing. And there's times where I eavesdrop on people and it
Mhm.
kind of feels like that. It just kind of feels like the structure for me just didn't work, just like all the different conversations, and especially I would have preferred it if it all stayed in the cafe and it was just overhearing conversations at a cafe. I think it when it leaves the cafe, it kind of loses that initial attachment for me. And that's kind of why it feels kind of minor for Hong Sang-soo because it just kind of feels kind of easy in a way, where it just kind of feels easy of like, okay, it's
I mean,
just
you could
different
say that for
conversation.
all.
Yeah, you could say that for all of them, but like it doesn't feel like he's
Wait,
experimenting as much,
sure.
and it just kind of feels like a simple script, and it's not doing much thematically for me. I think it's more what it was doing in the cafe was really interesting, especially when the older guy is like just goes up to her and is like trying to get someone to go to the woods and write with him, and she kind of takes it as
Hmm.
flirting, and you're kind of guessing, is this guy kind of using this as an excuse to hang out with another woman or not? And I really like that dynamic, and I love the dynamic of the suicide at the beginning. I love that conversation.
Yeah.
Every conversation in the cafe is just like mind blowing, and I love it. It's just whenever it leaves the cafe, it's like, let's go back to the cafe,
Yeah, I mean,
you
I can
know?
get that from like you want the focus on the cafe. I was just like in my head I was like, "Oh, I kind of wish we left the cafe." Like literally at the beginning because I didn't think they were going to leave and in my head I was like, "I hope they leave because I really love when Hong Sang-soo is outside kind of like in the streets." Like that's just on like a strictly like I like when
Yeah,
he
yeah. I
goes
mean, he
outside.
does some cool stuff outside the cafe, right? They're like smoking a cigarette, and then
Yeah,
they kind of look at the flowers right outside. I like those moments.
there's
I kind of would have liked it if it was like in the cafe and they kind of wander and but the intent is always to come back to the cafe. You know, just like, oh, let's take a break
yeah.
from this, and they do that little break. I think when they completely desert it, it's just like it's also like I came into the movie thinking the entire thing was going to be in the cafe, as you probably did too.
No, I didn't.
You know, you didn't.
It was just a blind watch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was just like, I got an hour. This one's an hour.
Yeah, it's short. And
Yeah.
we both watched it super recently. Like this is
Yeah.
the last Hong
Right.
Sang-soo I watched.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
What?
why him? Why the hell did you watch this?
Yeah. So my friend Jesse was like, "Hey, I watched this movie. I was telling him about friendship and how that movie's so funny, and I was like, oh, we should watch that. And he's like, yeah, another one's really funny is Why Him. I watched that like in COVID, and I just remember it being like so funny. And so I'm like, okay, yeah, but I never thought that. I always thought that movie looked bad, but I was like, all right, sure, like I haven't seen it. Let's watch it. Um, and we watched with our other friend and it was quickly everyone was like I also rented it for $5 so spent money um and everyone was like bro why the fuck did we watch this like this it's like so bad everyone hated it it
Yes,
was
he's
just
banned.
yeah
Yes, he's
like
banned
he's
from.
actually banned um no more Rex we were kind of like it's this like interesting thing where so the plot of the movie it's Bryan Cranston has this family this kind of like very kind of white normal kind of like almost like Christian like family like they're very like proper and all that and then his daughter played by Zoe Dutch is dating James Franco who's the worst guy your daughter could ever date and that's kind of like what the movie goes off of and so like but it's so stupid like they get to the house and he sees and his shirt's off he's like what the fuck is up guys and that's supposed to be like shocking just like the all the jokes are just him saying like fuck too much like, that's it? Where it's like, this is made for, like, that type of, like, Christian, white people families who are, like, shocked by cursing or something like that, or, like, even, like, kids who think cursing is, like, like, funny or, like, or shocking. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Um, to where it's just it's a horrific watch. It's just, like,
yeah.
so hard to sit through. It's also almost 2 hours long.
Oof.
Absolutely brutal. I thought Zoe Dutch would
Even
save it. She's not in it quite, like,
yeah.
nearly enough. Yeah, really bad. Don't recommend. That's
Okay,
it.
I watched. Luke recommended me Dracula from 1958 by Terrence Fisher. Instantly a movie I'm gonna show my kids. I
Okay.
mean, this just feels like it immediately feels camp. Like I love the way it looks.
Yeah.
It's just like, okay, this is great. I love like it kind of feels like a TV movie almost. Like that's kind of what it feels
Yeah.
like to me, and I love it. And I was just like, okay, I kind of like
Definitely like B
how
movie vibe.
it's never scary.
Yeah.
It's never scary at all. It's kind of like silly and it's just like
I found
constantly
it
interesting.
thrilling when what I like the shot of the steak and kind of, like
Yeah.
kind of the low angle. I remember
Yeah.
those moments being like whoa. But I don't
Yeah.
know, maybe it's
I love the way it looks. This feels like one of those movies. I wrote it in my review. I'm so glad I watched it without this because now I know how to watch it next time. Like, it's a cold day outside. You turn on the fireplace, you get some
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
you bake some cookies with
Oh
milk.
yeah,
You sit down with like your girlfriend and she has a stuffed animal. You both have like matching blankets and pajama sets and she's staying the night and you just turn on this movie and you just have a good time and you just go to bed. Like it's just one of those movies that immediately feels nostalgic. Like of like being a kid. Like you can be a kid with this movie. It's just so weird because it's a vampire movie. But there's something because it feels like a TV movie, it almost feels like a kid could watch this. Not like a little kid, but like, like a decent
yeah.
kid, like
Like the
like a
blood
10-year-old
super
could
red,
watch this.
like it's very, yeah,
Yeah, and I loved like as soon as I
kind of like
was
Evil
watching
Dead.
this, it's like, oh, that's the vibe, bro. Like this feels like a late November, early
Yeah,
December movie with the family. Like I'll probably show this to my family when I'm back in Oregon,
that's cool.
and just like I don't know, it just has that vibe, and I liked it. I mean, it's not doing the most extravagant things where I'm like totally in love with it. I actually think though, if I watched it with that vibe, it would go up to a 4 star. Like I
I need
think
the,
this movie
yeah,
is just built off vibes immediately, and I enjoyed living in this movie, and I enjoy that it's short. It's just a fun movie. I'm glad you recommended this because it's
yeah.
definitely a movie I'll probably rewatch a lot in my life.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie where I'm like, you watch it, you're like, it's such a good time. It's like I need to recommend this to every person I know because it's also
Yeah.
a gem. No one really. There's so many Dracula movies. It kind of falls under the radar.
Yeah. It kind of feels like minor compared to the other Dracula movies, but it's also major because it's like different and
Yeah,
not it's playing by the rules, but it's also I don't know, like even like the kill of Dracula is so fun.
yeah,
Like I love it.
that's so
Like it's
fun.
just like taking down the curtains and the light kills him. It's like the most basic thing ever, but it just works. And yeah, I loved it.
Yeah. All right. I watched Red Rooms, which is super easy to talk about. Um, I have to, we're almost at 2 hours, so I have to kind of make this quick, which is really hard. Um, it's really good. I think, okay. So there's something there's something really good about um, you know, it's mean spirited, but I think it in a way where I enjoyed it because I had actually a fun time watching. Like I thought it was like fun to watch. I don't know if that's crazy, but because it's definitely very like cynical in a lot of ways. But there's there's kind of this you know essence of the internet being a thing that if people who are deep into it, you can get deep into it, and that's just going to cause people to be fucking sick, right? And like the world, can just become this like really evil place because of allowing this kind of screen, right? Allowing this like separation from the world. Or and I think it's already, true with the shit people watch on Instagram Reels. I'm not innocent, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think there's also like a thing of like on that theme, her kind of being a online poker player. There's a line she says that's so good, where she's basically like explaining it to her friend Clementine, um, and she says that she basically is just kind of like ruthless with the money and like is thinking very like logically, and she's like, you don't have to have emotion to the key is to not have emotion to be able to win, and then you get as much money as possible, right? Which is interesting because it kind of shows kind of like the lack of empathy that's allowed from just being on a screen. But um and even maybe like the capitalistic side of that, like when that's allowed, but also kind of thinking of poker as like a game that's relied so much, um when you play it in real life, on like body language and like looking at people, right? And like that's kind of a big part of the game. I'm not a big poker player, but that's a really smart, motif kind of to throw into that kind of movie, that made me think.
Yeah.
yeah, them as friends is so there's two girls who are kind of friends in the movie, and they're both kind of on like these different. They're both kind of on these, yeah, like different, led down wrong paths in different ways from being on the internet. Where I kind of talked about the main character is kind of, I don't know. She's interesting, but um yeah, kind of focused
She's
a
also
lot.
a model too. She's also a model,
Yeah.
and the like. First of all, this movie is gorgeous. Like, there's some really great shots in this movie. Hello,
Sorry.
look at that first feature on the pod.
I know.
Uh, this movie is gorgeous. There's some amazing shots of screens.
Mhm.
I love her apartment. There's like nothing on the walls. It just feels very
Yeah, it's
empty.
creepy.
It's really creepy. I One of my favorite scenes is when the mother of one of the victims has the chance to watch what happened to her daughter,
Yeah.
and then it's just so brutal. And
Yeah.
then like she's like, okay, I'll stay and watch, but she immediately leaves.
Yeah.
And it's like the intrigue of you as the viewer, you kind of put yourself in this girl's shoes of being like, this whole movie to me feels like, when you see cop lights and you're just interested. It
Yeah.
kind of feels like you want to see
Yeah.
something dark, you probably won't like what you see, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, I think it does that with the main character. It withholds a lot of information. Like that's a probably the biggest part of the structure of this movie is built around us not really knowing why she's involved in this story. Like what's her role and like why is she kind of doing this
So
stuff?
invested. Yeah, she's
Yeah.
so invested.
Um which I didn't love. I typically really like that in a movie where it withholds a lot of information. Like I was thinking of like The Secret Agent, how that movie does that. I don't know. I wasn't completely sold on it with this one. Um, and I think thematically, I kind of from doing that, I kind of wish there was just more for me there. Like when all was said and done. Um, I don't know. It was kind of hard to articulate that, but that's kind of how I
Yeah.
felt. I think Clementine was also like I really love that character and her kind of being on the side of the accused because of like the internet leading her down this kind of mental pathway of anything can be fake. Like there's so much like how can you know anything's real because like it could be like AI or she's like, oh, anyone could Photoshop that or like all this stuff, and it's kind of like true. It's like how do you like get to the truth out of anything? It really blurs the lines. The internet, like where you could see her side, but um, so that was interesting, but yeah,
The best sequence in the movie is the end when it's so thrilling when
uh,
she's
yes,
playing poker on the side just so
yeah,
that she can get a ticket to this thing. And then this is my favorite movie of 2023. It's a 4.5 star. It's like one of my favorite movies ever. And there's a line in the movie that's not said that blows me out of the water and like made my heart drop, which was when she's finally in the chat and it's like queuing and it's getting ready and you see all the chatters that are in the thing. You see some things that people are saying and you're like, holy fuck, people are fucked up. Like that's what I told you about this movie. It's like makes you realize how fucked up the world is. Someone literally says it says let the bidding begin,
hmm
and then someone chats in the thing and it says who else got a hard on, and
hmm
it like heart dropped and I was like that is so fucked up.
yeah,
Like a simple line like that of thinking someone that's like getting off by someone getting killed on camera is like the most despicable thing I've ever seen in my life. And this movie does it so well and it's gorgeous. But yeah, I love
yeah.
this movie.
Trial. It's also a little trial movie, which I always have a fun time with. And
Yeah. It's an interesting trial thing too. It's like an
yeah,
interesting courtroom
yeah. The first
and
20
it
minutes
feels
are like
screens too.
are
Yeah,
gonna be great. Yeah, do you know what you're recommending me?
I do.
Okay, I do as well, but you go first.
I'm recommending you Avanti by Billy Wilder.
Okay.
It's a very underseen Billy Wilder. Um, and it's a movie I think about constantly, and it's perfect for summer. It's a great summer movie. It all takes place in an Italian hotel, and
My language.
Billy Wilder's great. It's one of my favorites by him. Um, yeah, Jack Lemmon is great. He's a little older in this movie. It's color, so it has this great color. Um, deals with rooms. It's funny. It's quirky. It's romantic. A lot of good tension within this movie. I think it's one of Billy Wilder's most versatile movies. It's also one of his longer movies. Um, yeah, it's just a great summer watch. So yeah, that's what I'm recommending you because I don't know. I just felt it's like it's summer, so I just wanted to give you a summer movie.
Cool. That looks like a
And
fun one. I've not really
it
heard of it.
it's also a lot lighthearted. So after Red Rooms, I'm giving you a little bit of a break and giving you something a little
Okay, great.
lighthearted and sweet
Yeah,
and
yeah.
romantic.
Red Rooms really makes you just give up on the world.
Yeah, you're just like
Um,
fuck.
okay, continuing my streak of being fucking good about picking movies related to the episode, I'm giving you Carnage that I kind of talked about already earlier in the episode. Um, um, I don't, it's honestly not a movie like I would typically see myself liking, but I don't know. There's just a lot of like little details that I think are fun. Um, it's also tough doing this where I'm giving you like movies that are so close to the episode because I feel like naturally there comes like the comparison of like really comparing the two because they're so similar that probably like hurts
That's
it.
why I don't do it. That's why
Yeah,
I
I
don't do
know.
it.
It's probably not a good idea, but it just feels like so right. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll give that up at some point, but for now, I think it's fun. Um, um, it's yeah. So I don't know. You probably comparison's probably inevitable, but I think there's a lot of like good battles of like social norms that's going on. Like I think you could this could play in like any sociology class and be a great one. Um, and that was fun. And I think there's kind of some you know um battling of philosophies that was interesting and some great actors just acting very
Yeah.
acting big acting movie, big script movie. And yeah, I don't know.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, I guess we'll wrap it up there. um what's next week?
Next week, The
Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Right, okay, yeah. I don't
Big
know,
one.
just forgot about that, so.
I think something else to look forward to next week, along with the Odyssey review, we will be ranking it amongst Christopher Nolan's filmography as well. So either if at that point next Tuesday you've seen it or you haven't seen it, um, and you like or dislike our opinion, I guess, um, you'll get to see where we rank it. So I'm fairly excited to watch it.
I'm
It's
excited.
been waiting a year for this movie, so it's
Yeah.
kind of crazy that's here already. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
So
All right. Next week, episode 23, The Odyssey.